Are you ever out here at night walking?
Yeah, I'll walk at night, especially when I first get back from the road. It's nice out. Scary, too.
Why?
Raccoons, you can hear them like rustling in the woods. And...
You scared of raccoons?
Yeah, very much so. That's an irrational fear that I just have.
So if we want to get to you, Dave, get a raccoon?
Yeah, I'm not scared of them like if I see them out close, they freak me out. They're a little too bold. They got those hands.
Good morning and hello to all of my YouTube friends. I hope you guys and gals are doing well, and I thank you for listening. I'd like to talk about Dave Chappelle today for a little bit, but before that, two things I want to bring up. Number one, if I had the time, I could make about 10 videos this week. I could make about 10 videos on every single thing that's happening in politics. It is an insanely busy week. From the Comey hearing to healthcare coming up Thursday for a vote, to the Supreme Court nominee Neil Gould. I'm not even going to try to say that last name. It's probably the busiest week in years in politics. It's just a lot of shit going on, and I don't have the time to really cover it a lot this week. And yesterday's video, you know, that was just something I felt like working on. You know, I was feeling goofy. So, yeah, that was codenamed Sneaky Putin. I had been working on something before, and I thought, well, I'll kind of work on this concept and maybe add some Darth Vader in there. I don't know. I like to have fun sometimes. The second thing is, I would like to sincerely thank everyone for all of your support on my Zelda video. Or as I like to call it, Prototype Video 100. You see, there was two videos, that one and the Kenny Rogers Nightmare, that came, I uploaded about the same time. Between those two, I was thinking about combining them to make that the 100th video, but then I thought, well, I'll separate them a little bit because the one video is kind of giving a shout out to a friend of mine on YouTube named Demetrios. So that's how that came to be Video 100. But looking at them, I'm getting a whole lot more views and likes and good feedback on the Zelda video, so maybe I should officially made that the 100th video. I mean, I'm still getting comments, you know, rolling in on that, and that was uploaded like a week ago. It's insane. You know, for my small channel, that's really not out there a lot. To get so much support on a video like that, and like I said, I think it's my most liked video of all time, I believe, which is not impressive because, like I said, I'm a very small channel. Hopefully one day I'll be a big channel, but you know, who knows? I think if I keep making videos like that, you know, I might have a future. I might have a future. Am I happy with it? That's not the first edit of that. I made that video a couple times before, and I wasn't happy with it. And I just picked up the recording device and just kind of let loose. And I was feeling very, very passionate. I was really angry that all the Nintendo fanboys and man-children, as I called them, got together and DDoSed Jim Sterling, who committed the crime, the heinous crime of being a fucking critic of a video game. How dare he? And I was feeling very pissed off about that, so that probably came through. I think looking back on some of my best videos, I could probably also look at Blubbering Reaper, or Prophets of Rage. Ironically, Prophets of Rage, which is a video where I say some not so nice things about Jim Sterling on a different front. So it's perfectly fine for someone to be critical of someone that is a critic on certain things. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, I just am really blown away by all the support that you guys gave that video. And hopefully in the future, I will come up with some more videos that you really, really love, like that one. No promises. I don't know. So on to this one. On to Dave Chappelle. Now, I don't get a lot of time, or at least I haven't because I've been focusing on video games and politics, to really talk about something that I love, and that is comedy. You might notice that
I am still in shape.
there's a lot of comedy on this channel, and I really enjoy making people laugh, because when you make people laugh, they become happier. I think our comedians do a great service, because I know that there's been many times in my life to where I've been really kind of down in the dumps, and maybe I watch George Carlin or Bill Hicks or Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle, and then it brings me out of my funk, and then it lets me know not to be so serious about things, that some things you can just kind of get past. You can learn to laugh at some things and maybe some mistakes you've made in life. And a lot of life is that exactly. It's learning to laugh at the past. It's not being so hard on yourself. And when you see great comedians like Dave Chappelle, there's a big grain of
That's how it's done.
of human in him. Like, he comes across like he's not really structured. He's just a real guy. And the comedians I think are the best are the ones that just come at you from an area, like they're not trying to play a character or front or anything. Like, when you watch him, you kind of know that he actually really means a lot of his comedy. Like, he's actually had those experiences in his life. The Chappelle Show. If you were around at a time, if you remember, or if you watched the show, I don't see how you couldn't have. Chappelle Show was the biggest thing that hit comedy, at least I would say, this whole century so far. Everyone remembers when they saw their first Dave Chappelle skit on the Chappelle Show. The one I saw was Clayton Bigsby. I was going through channel surfing one day. I didn't even know what the Chappelle Show was. But then I saw Dave Chappelle, who I remember from the movie Half Baked, and he was doing a skit about a black KKK member. And I was looking at it, and I was just completely blown away that Comedy Central allowed something like that to be on television. A lot of dropping of the N-word, you know? I had never seen anything quite like that. And then there was another skit after that, and another skit, and I started watching religiously every week. The Prince skits, the Rick James skit. I'm Rick James, bitch! You know, that right there. I mean, there's nothing I probably rewatch on the regular more than my Dave Chappelle DVDs. I don't know if they're on Blu-ray, but I have the DVD set. And I can't remember anything that I've ever watched that I was so sad that it went off, off of TV. And I wondered, like, why? After only 2 seasons, did Dave Chappelle walk away from that? He had the biggest show on TV, which is a huge accomplishment for a comedian, let alone like a black comedian. I mean, I never remember a time where I saw like, a black comedian, reach those heights of fame. I mean, and Dave Chappelle jokes about it too. He's like, man, I've never seen so many white people like try to get my attention and get my autograph. I'm like, this is insane. People was going up to me going, hey, Rick James, bitch. I'm Rick James, bitch. And they would say like, no, you're not. I'm not even Rick James. I was just playing a skit. And, yeah, he had the biggest show on TV, and deservedly so. I've never seen any sketch comedy just so, like, real. It was real. And yeah, I just can't go into every... I could watch the worst skits on the Chappelle Show versus the best skits on Key and Peele. And that's not knocking Key and Peele, but you know, man, nothing was like Chappelle's show. Like nothing. And then I don't even know if we'll ever see anything like that again. But he walked away. And I always wondered why he walked away. He had a deal that they were going to offer him of $50 million. Imagine being a comedian and having your own TV show, being offered $50 million bucks, and then just turning it down. He turned it down. I think he had some creative differences. I've heard different things in the past. A friend of mine had told me that one of the writers on the show maybe laughed a little bit too hard at a racist skit, and he felt like, but I don't know if that's true. There's all these rumors as to why he left. For years, it was the great mystery of why Dave Chappelle left. He just, he went off the map. He actually went to Africa, and he just needed an escape, because he came out in 2014 and he revealed why he walked away. And he had an interview with Gayle King of CBS News where he went into it a little bit more. He said, you know, she asked him if he loved the Chappelle show, and he said, yeah, I love the Chappelle show, but you know, it's kind of like a crazy bitch you dated in the past. You know, you love it, but you're kind of hesitant about going back to that shit, you know? Which was a great analogy. I'm sure we all have things about the past that we loved, you know, but they weren't probably the best for us in our life, and we kind of like, we think about that, you know, but he's happy now. I mean, he's back. He went away. He turned down $50 million. He lived his life for over a decade. He focused on his family and his friends. You know, he cleared his head, got away from all that fame, and it was really good for him, because he came back. He came back to SNL, which was really shocking when people told me, like, hey, you know, Dave Chappelle's back. Like, the Dave Chappelle? Because a friend of mine called me and said, like, dude, SNL, Dave Chappelle's on. I'm like, you fucking killing me. You kidding me, right? It's somebody playing a skit like Dave Chappelle. But I turned it on, and I watched him, and it was a very important monologue, because it was the first SNL monologue after the election. So you could imagine the way that election went. People were going to go crazy and riot on either side. It was that kind of election. People were really completely divided down the line. And he talked about how people are rioting outside, and he talked about a story to where he went to the White House, and he remembered it was all black people except for Bradley Cooper, you know, Rocket Raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy. He's like, I'm walking around here, and then all of us is black except for Bradley Cooper. You know, then you remember the time where, you know, there were black people like Frederick Douglass who weren't allowed into the White House. They weren't allowed. And he felt positive about America's future, and, you know, he wished Trump well on his presidency. And of course, it was a really, really funny opening monologue, and then there was a really funny skit that he did about The Walking Dead where he played Negan, too. So that reminded you of the Chappelle show, and you kept thinking, like, damn, I wish the Chappelle show would come back. But at least some of the characters came back for that one night. And that would have been okay, you know? That would have been a nice little send-off. I would have been happy if that's, you know, the last time I saw Dave Chappelle, you know? But he came back. He came back. He has a $60 million deal. $60 million. To put that in perspective, that's $59 more million than Dr. Evil wanted in the Austin Powers movies. Yeah, $60 million bucks. $60 million bucks. Imagine that kind of money. So he has some Netflix specials, and I'm probably going to watch them today. I just... I'm just so blown away that somebody that I loved, whose comedy that I loved, is now back in the game. Now, would this mean possibly the Chappelle Show coming back? I don't think so, but man, that would just be amazing.
I'm sorry about your dad. It's good to see you. Just 1 second.
A place
I'm busy
Chappelle
later.
says he's treated like a neighbor, not a big star.
I'll stop by.
Are you calmer here?
Generally speaking, yeah. I have time to think about things, and I think for a comedian, if you don't have time to think, you're just not as effective.